Looking at Newton's first law, you have to remember back from your middle school days what Newton's first law is. An object in motion will stay in motion with a constant velocity until acted upon by an outside force. An object at rest will stay at rest until acted upon by an outside force. Examples I like to give here. Imagine you're in space and you throw something like a wrench. And that wrench is going to tumble through space forever and ever until an outside force acts on it. It is going to stay in motion with a constant velocity because once it leaves your hand, there are no forces to push it. It's just going to keep on going and going and going. Conversely, look at things that are at rest. If you set a mug on your desk and you walk away, that mug will still be there when you get back unless something acts on it. There's nothing going to make the mug move. Unless some outside force acts on it, it will stay at rest. This brings us to the idea of inertia. Inertia is the tendency of an object to maintain state of motion. Objects have a tendency to do what it is that they are already doing. You commonly think of this when you associate with the word momentum, which we'll learn later. Inertia is directly related to mass. It is an intrinsic, internal, physical property of mass. If you have mass, you therefore have inertia. Also, the more mass you have, the more inertia you have. For example, if you have a semi-truck and a sports car, the semi-truck has way more inertia than does the sports car. So the semi-truck has more of a tendency to keep doing what it's doing. If the two of them are at a stoplight, it's harder for the semi-truck to get going because it has so much more inertia, whereas the sports car can get going very easily because it's much lighter in comparison. Also, if those two vehicles are coming up to a stoplight, it is much easier to stop the sports car because it's lighter than the semi-truck because it's heavier. That's inertia explained. Also, in class we did a lot of little tricks with inertia. The best one you can visualize if you didn't see it in class would be when the waiter in The Magician, the waiter pulls the tablecloth out from under the dishes. The dishes and the things on the table have inertia. So when you pull the tablecloth out very fast, the sideways forces that you're talking about there are not enough to overcome the inertia of the objects that are resting on the table. The objects resting on the table stay mostly undisturbed. The heavier they are, the less disturbed they are. And that's inertia. Associated with this was a homework on page 126.